The year 1841 is when this story starts in New York City, USA. In those days, people were not treated any differently from animals in a marketplace and were sold as slaves. People would purchase them and hold on to them for the rest of their lives. An African-American man who is free is introduced to us here. Solomon Northup. He and his wife and 2 kids resided in New York. Nothing was lacking and his family was content. Because of his aptitude on the violin, Solomon was regarded by all as a gifted musician. He was introduced to Brown and Hamilton, 2 white males, by a buddy one day. They gave Solomon a job opportunity in Washington, where he would play the violin for them and get paid $70 a month plus $50 for each performance, which was a substantial sum at the time. Solomon gave in to temptation and accompanied them on their trip. Following a meal with them at a restaurant in Washington, Solomon lost consciousness. He awoke in a pitch-black room the following morning, chained. He was horrified to learn that his drink had been tampered with. His captors had beaten him and said he was a fugitive slave from Georgia, although he argued he was a free man from New York. Along with other kidnapped black people, including a family, Solomon was shipped south. A woman was abused by a white man who dragged her away one night. Another black man who attempted to protect her was fatally stabbed, and the following morning, his body was dumped into the water. A slave market was eventually reached. Here, individuals were examined, stripped nude, and sold like commodities. His real name was removed and Solomon was called Platt. He and a mother with 2 children were bought by a comparatively kind master. But the mother was devastated when she was split up from her kids. Another slave told Solomon that if he wanted to live, he should never disclose his true identity or level of reading. Now, life was a never-ending labor. Wood hauling, tree cutting, and working for ruthless supervisors. Solomon received a violin as a gift for impressing his master by proposing a less expensive way to move logs through water. But this simply made his supervisor more envious. Solomon fought back and almost killed the overseer one day following a disagreement. He later hung with a noose after 3 men tried to lynch him. Hours passed while he stood on tiptoe, gasping for air, and everything around him continued as if nothing had happened. Only because people thought he was too valuable to lose did he survive. His owner eventually sold him to a cruel cotton plantation owner out of concern for his safety. Each slave in this place had to pluck 100 pounds of cotton every day or risk cruel beatings. One young woman, Patsy, was able to pick more than 250 pounds per day. She persevered through her master's passion and his wife's brutality in spite of her diligence. Patsy, who could no longer stand the suffering, pleaded with Solomon one night to take her life. However, he declined. Her employer later made Solomon beat her almost to death when she was accused of stealing soap. Solomon destroyed his prized violin because he was so distraught and guilty. Many years went by. Once, Solomon attempted to use a white worker to write a letter for assistance, but the man deceived him. Until Bass, another white carpenter, arrived to work on the plantation, his aspirations appeared to be dashed. Bass thought that all men should be free and was against slavery. He consented to covertly send a letter north after winning Solomon's trust. After several months, there was hope. Solomon's buddy, Mr. Parker, and a sheriff visited the plantation. They interrogated Solomon and verified his identification as Solomon Northup, a free man, after he accurately provided information about his past. Parker threatened to ruin him in court if his master tried to stop him. Solomon was finally free after a grueling 12 years of slavery. He gave Patsy an embrace before he left, and she sobbed furiously because she knew she would always be in bondage. When Solomon got home, his kids were grown up, his daughter was married, and he had a son named after him. He sobbed and pleaded with his family for forgiveness, but they told him he was innocent. Solomon's narrative, 12 Years a Slave, was published in 1853. It revealed the atrocities of slavery and rose to international fame. Because of his bravery and voice against injustice, he is still honored today. The film then comes to a close,